late to the press conference. I think they started at 10 a.m. here. This is citizens uniting against the corruption here in Calhoun County. And so we're meeting to figure out a way around our corrupt representatives. I agree with your interpretation of the... Yes, sir. One thing I wanted to especially, I wanted to recognize the NTD news for being here. And I would say about them that they are the traditional news and the other people are fake news. And it's an honor to have them here. And I want to say about this initiative going on in the community, notice there's almost no discussion the other way trying to push back about the communist Chinese collaboration here. You're hearing they're almost like they're not even addressing the issue. But pay attention to, they're trying to have this, we're all flat earthers kind of a thing. There's not going to be anything going on because of collaboration with communist China. But pay attention, this has come in with the birth of it, with arresting citizens for free speech, with citizens having to meet in private because they cannot be heard in their own public meetings. So if you don't think the communist Chinese influence is already here with it, it came with it. It's not whether or not it's going to change anything. It announced itself with it. And so I just wanted to ask the question, can't we take them to court and file suit against them for the violation of the Constitution and the fact that right here, that we are here having to meet because they are violating our constitutional rights to free speech and to be heard at our public meetings.
Continue to press on all fronts, and we're going to continue to push from the state and on Article 4, Section 30.
But we just saw a poll from Trafalgar who's done a pretty good job in the past of getting things pretty accurate. This is a national poll where they asked the question about as broadly as you could, saying, do you think it's right for U.S. or state tax dollar to go to any partnership that even have ties to China? They didn't even narrow it down to saying, actually, you know, and the overall answer is that 75% of people in America, including, I think it was 65% of Democrats, 75% of Republicans, or of independents, and then Republicans were like 85%, said no, it's not appropriate to do that. So I really think they're gaslighting us when they say, now you may get some people at a local level who are more interested if they are getting a tangible benefit, right? But I think that you really got to push back, and I'd be happy to share. I don't know if this group, it's the only other thing I wanted to say is I don't know if there's an effective chain of communication that's been set up, and we talk about collecting signatures, and maybe afterwards, I don't know, Justin, if you have some paper or something, get people to put their names on a piece of paper, we could do some further outreach, but you got to empower people with some of this information because it is not a popular policy. It's the opposite. Most people instinctively see this and know. 75% of Americans see something like this and know that it's a bad idea, right? So I doubt it's much different, right, in the community of, you know, Calhoun County or in Marshall.
I wanted to tell you all it's such an honor to have you here. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, thank you.
I support Epic Times financially, and I try and share your content. I so much appreciate you all and how you look out for us.
We're going to the City Hall. Is there City
Yes,
Hall?
ma'am.
May we introduce you?
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, how to say, interview you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I will see you there.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks for coming.
So where are you here today?
Well, this mega site for this electric vehicle battery plant is in partnership with China. Over $1 billion in state taxpayer money is going to go to here. That's over $100 for every person, every man, woman, and child in Michigan. This private company with partners free market. All the companies should build their own buildings, sell their own products, and just do that without the assistance from taxpayers' dollars. So this is unacceptable what's happening, and these types of things are happening more and more, not just only in our state, but throughout the nation, and it's a global machine that we're seeing here more and more, a partnership of big corporations getting special deals from government. And it's a redistribution of wealth from the hardworking middle class to the politically connected, and that's a very big problem that everybody should be concerned with. So, we already did, of course, the press conference over there at the VFW Hall. That was nice that they allowed us to use the space there, but we just wanted to come down and show people the mega site location. This is where it's going to be built, right here behind us in this farm. So a lot of people from the community have voiced their concerns, whether it's with environmental concerns, just not wanting that atmosphere of an industrial park in their backyard or in their community. The national security risk that this brings, having Fort Custer just down the road a few miles. And then, of course, the economic concerns of people, whether you live here in the community, you might lose a small business might lose an employee, or, of course, the people throughout the state of Michigan who are having their tax dollars go to their competitors or other companies who get an unfair advantage. So we just want to raise awareness of what's going on here and the fact that the Michigan Constitution isn't being followed properly. You're supposed to get 2/3 votes in order to appropriate funds for private purposes. And what we're seeing here, we had 59 votes for this out of 110. They were supposed to get 74 votes to have a 2/3 majority. They only got a simple majority, but they circumvent the Constitution, calling this a public purpose, even though it's giving tax dollars from the hardworking middle class to private company. That is private purposes. Just because you wordsmith around it, the bill doesn't mean that you can just violate the Constitution. It's unacceptable, and I would love to see legal challenges, and we'll do what we can in the state. Some of us legislators who want to fight against this. Representative Frisky's here with us today, a good ally in wanting to bring awareness to this and challenge. We're supposed to follow the Constitution, not just work around it.
I'd love to bring up a little history now anytime I can. The people of Marshall have this amazingly proud heritage here. There's a specific story of escaped slaves finding their way here to this community, and their former owner actually tracking them down with bounty hunters to here, and actually enlisting the aid of the local law enforcement and government here to recapture these slaves. And in Marshall here, the farmers, the community, the citizens banded together, and they said, no, law enforcement, corrupt government doesn't matter. And they protected those escaped refugee slaves. And they actually got them safe passage all the way to Canada, where they were able to maintain their freedom. And it took others gathering around them from the state, all the way from Detroit even, gathering around to support them and protect them, because those farmers were being persecuted by the government. They were actually hauled into court and charged with crimes for protecting those fellow human beings. And the people of this state banded together around the people of Marshall, and they said, no, just because you wind up in a position of power doesn't mean we're going to let you use it for evil. It needs to happen that same way still. This is not the heritage of Marshall. The heritage of Marshall is the U.S. Constitution and the freedom and the rights of everyone, not of the corporation.
May I have your name and what did you?
Yes, ma'am. Justin Schatz. And I try and expose local corruption and hold the government to proper accountability for the citizens.
Yeah, in the press conference, we heard that a lot of residents are worried about the foreign companies, Chinese Communist Party's company come here. Anyone want to say something on this topic?
I know that I can say, where has it been good for anyone to have partnership with the communist regimes? When has that ever worked out in anyone's benefit? This is the most short-sighted, imaginable thing that could happen. The White House could have just as easily made the stipulations to where Ford could not do this with China. Just as easily. It was an intentional loophole left open for this to be able to happen, for us to have this collaboration with a communist regime. And the fact of the matter is, we already have them snuck in on our university campuses. the Light Foundation for Chinese or Light Institute for Chinese Studies, I believe they're fraudulently called, but they're on Western Michigan University, Michigan State, U of M. There is an ongoing effort from the Chinese regime in China to take advantage of Michigan, to take advantage of our fresh water supply, of our resources, and they're hitting it at all angles. And we need to get wise to what's happening. We need to defend ourselves against it. Communism is on the rise. It's in South America. It's where a lot of people think it's not. And we have to defend ourselves.
Well,